Okay, and, among the topics we're going to be looking at tonight, and we're getting a lot of calls about this all week, are you going to talk about, what happened to slain Israeli boys and what a terrible tragedy that my hearts go out to the families, and really they displayed such emunah, such faith, and such wonderful people, and these are really such terrific young men that just brutally slain by these Hamas terrorists, and I think people are upset about remarks that came out from New York this week. So Jacob Kornbluh joins us right now, and you probably follow him. He's a well-known journalist, and we're going to be looking at the remarks made. And, of course, we're going to be taking your phone calls in just a little bit. Jacob is a well-known political journalist and managing editor of JP Updates News and political website. So, good luck. Thank you for joining us.
Good luck. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Good to see you, by the way, Sunday at the Shimon Peres tribute in Manhattan. Nice sitting next to you.
Yeah, that was an awesome conversation. For those who haven't seen it, I think Charlie Rose broadcasted it on his channel this week.
And it was an amazing event, and there was a packed house, and and President Shimon Peres spoke well, and Charlie Rose did an amazing job interviewing him, and I thought this was a very spectacular event.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, people, maybe you should clarify for the audience. Let's look at the remarks that the Satmar Rebbe made, the Rav Aaron Teitelbaum, and let's look at the implications and what the reaction has been.
First of all, the speech in a whole was said to his followers, and we all know that the Satmar Rebbe has a shitta against Zionism, and we all know that whenever he gets an opportunity, he rallies his followers, against the Zionist state and so on. So we're not going to go into content of what he said or what implications it might have had on his followers, as the whole Jewish people, around the world were watching the news, and we were all awaiting the safe return, and we were devastated to hear the news that the three boys were murdered minutes after they were kidnapped. But I think what really attracted the attention of the media, the worldwide media, I would say, is the line that the Rebbe said, that the parents of the slain children, the grieved parents, were to blame for the brutal murder of their kids. I mean, we are talking about three parents. One of them lost their only boy. They have 5 girls and they had 1 boy, and the father spoke over the weekend how he saw him grow, and he had to tiptoe in order to put over his talus over his son's head at Bechas Kahanim, and he doesn't have it anymore. And so we are talking about 3 innocent children, yeshiva students, who came back, who wanted to come back safe home after a week of learning, and we're not talking about where they live, because we all know 2 of the families live in the heart of Israel, and we're not talking what their motives were to go learn in that yeshiva. It happens to be that yeshiva, Makar Chaim, is one of the best yeshivas in the Dati Leumi sect. I mean, they learn English, they go through bio exams. So we're talking about intelligent children. They had a life ahead of them. And to go and make such insensitive remarks to 3 parents who are angst and pain, and we're not talking about the entire nation of Israel, all the Jewish people around the world who are devastated, who are crying their hearts out to see these families laid to rest their beloved children, and I'm not talking about the other aspect, Zev, and that is that in the secular media or around the world, even in Israel, Haredim all dress the same. We all go to the same shuls. We all follow the same kind of rabbis. And when one rabbi says such an insensitive remark, it has an impact on the entire Haredi community worldwide. They don't see a difference between Satmar or Belz or Vishnitz or Bobov. They see a Haredi rabbi told his followers, X, Z, and Y. And this is what the implications were, and you know, who am I? You know, I'm just an individual. Who am I to even criticize a rabbi's remarks? But I'm just saying what I heard other people said, and you heard condemnations of all across the entire spectrum, from Reform rabbis to Hasidic rabbis to Talmudical rabbis to rabbis across the world who are combating anti-Semitism at their own level. And I'm sure the 4 people in the Brussels Jewish Museum were not settlers and were not occupying any territory. And Ari Halberstam, that was killed on the Brooklyn Bridge, was not learning in a yeshiva in occupied territories. So terror hits Jews worldwide, and when a leader of so many Jews says such a remark that hurts inside the heart of the grieved parents, when the blood is still warm, when those kids were so brutally murdered, and you know, and they had no way of fleeing their captors, you know, I think that these remarks were not said in the right time, and everything is about timing. Shlomo HaMelech says, you know, there's time to tear, there's time to speak, but there's time to cry and time to remain silent. And I think when 3 grieved pair of parents bury their children, and the entire Jewish people worldwide is wrapped around them in such a unique show of achdus, I think it's not the time for provocative statements, and not the time to make bold statements on whatever you know, stance you might be willing to perform or to demonstrate to your followers.
No, I hear what you're saying, and the question has been, of course, it adds extra anguish to the bereaved parents, because, you know, there was such tremendous achdus, unity, as you pointed out, and I think everybody had that unity, and this sort of chips away at that unity that we have, and I think people were hoping that in the aftermath of the boys' slaying, at least we can keep it going. We had non-religious people in Israel putting on tefillin and davening and praying, even Mr. Lapid, Yair Lapid, from who said I think he dusted off his bar mitzvah siddur and prayed and davened.
Not his bar mitzvah siddur, it was his father's siddur that he lastly used at his son's bar mitzvah 6 years ago.
Oh, so, okay. So it's still a wonderful thing that, you know, that he davened and brought such unity. And the question is, and you pointed out something interesting, in the eyes of the non-religious public and in the eyes of the non-Jewish world, they can't distinguish between one Haredi and another Haredi. So the question, though, is what impact does it have on those that may see this in print and hear about it, and how they view the whole situation, how they view the Haredim, and how they view the religious world?
And Zev, it's not a question about you know, it's not something new that occurred. You know, the onslaught against Haredim is a continuous campaign for over a year now. Okay, and we've seen Am Yisrael unite against what they call the decree of the government, what some view as rationale of recruiting Haredim to the IDF. So we're not going to go into that. But the idea that Haredim in New York, not in Israel, who don't help with the mission of securing Israel, who don't recruit to the IDF, have a word and say on everything, and could produce such a sensitive remark to an Israeli that is not even in consensus. We're not talking about, you know, we all know that a majority of Israel is in favor of pursuing a two-state solution. We know that if the time will come and will be able to forge a peace accord with the Palestinians. We know that most of the West Bank will be given back to the Palestinians. We know the U.S. government...
It can't be given back to them because it was never was theirs. You talk about giving it away. I'm sorry for interrupting, but that's a common mistake that people make, giving it back. They never had it. It's ours. If anything, we give it away. And I think the mood in Israel today is after the aftermath of the murders and we see the deterioration of negotiations. I think the mood in Israel is not to give a territory away.
But my point is that even those who view it as occupied territories, even those who view it as disputed territories, even those who view it as part of a future Palestinian state, nobody justifies the killing of innocent children. And I mean to say, and us Jews that, cherish life, that speak so much about the love between a parent and a kid. It's Motzei Shabbos. We talk about v'haishiv live bunim ala voisam, the life and the heart of the parents on the kids. So in such a moment, no political statement can be made on the fact that these kids were brutally murdered innocently on their way home, and this should not be justified by any means.
Exactly. When we come back, I want to take some phone calls. Jacob Kornbluh is with us. He's a political journalist and managing editor of JP Updates, news and political website. When we come back, we take some of your phone calls at 212-769-1925, 212-769-1925. You can email us at zev@talklinecommunications.com. That's zev@talklinecommunications.com. We're looking at the controversy about the slain Israeli boys and some remarks made by the Satmar Rebbe, Rav Aaron Teitelbaum, and we want to hear what you have to say. 212-769-1925. You want to email us at zev@talklinecommunications.com. You can Facebook, you can Google Plus us, you can Twitter us at Talkline Network, and we'll have an opportunity for you to speak out. Coming up in a little while, we'll be speaking to Rabbi Joseph Telushkin about the Lubavitcher Rebbe and his legacy. And want to remind everybody that the LTB 2014 takes place this coming Tuesday, and you can go to LTB 2014 to sign up and register to ltbsummit.com or 718-513-2222. If you're in business, this is a must to be there. And we're going to be right back with your phone calls right after the following message.
Dr. Dweck. Do you have high blood pressure? Are you overweight? There's a strong chance that you snore and have sleep apnea. Sleep apnea means that while you sleep, you stop breathing 15 to 90 times every hour. Snoring and sleep apnea is serious. Risks include high blood pressure, stroke, prediabetes and diabetes, depression, and heart attack. But the good news is there are effective and easy-to-use devices that your medical insurance or Medicare will cover. Your health will improve with a reduced risk of stroke, high blood pressure, and heart attack. To find out more, call Dr. Dweck at Dweck Dental today at 1-800-83-SNORING for a free consultation and insurance benefits check. Speak to one of our trained medical insurance experts and start breathing. Your family members will finally be able to sleep while you wake up feeling rested and refreshed. Call Dr. Dweck at 1-800-83-SNORING. That's 1-800-83-SNORING.
It's not too late to sign up for the Jewish Heritage Tour of Majestic Morocco this coming August 13th through the 24th. The tour starts the Wednesday after Shabbos Nachmu for a total of 11 days, 10 nights. Join Rabbi Herschel Schachter, Rosh Yeshiva and Rosh Kol of Yeshiva University, and Rafal Amole, author of Jews of Morocco, as you will embark on an unforgettable journey through historic and modern Morocco, including trips to Fez and Rabat. The first Shabbos will be in Marrakesh and the second in Casablanca. Accommodation includes staying in 5-star hotels and traveling in deluxe buses throughout the country. 3 kosher meals a day under a Hasidic Shlita. For reservations, call David of MDA Tours at 347-752-1948. That's 347-752-1948. Or email him at mdatours1@gmail.com. That's mdatours@gmail.com. Don't delay. Make your reservations today, as there are only a few seats left on the group nonstop round-trip flight to Morocco. Calls 347-752-1948. Don't delay. Are you intrigued by the world of Talmud? Subscribe to the current Talmud Bavli and bring the Gemara to life with color images, maps, and explanations on halacha, history, and language by Rav Dean Steinsaltz. The current Talmud Bavli will change the way you understand Gemara. Subscribe to get 20% off and free shipping, and Talk and Listen get an extra 5% off. So go to korenpub.com, that's KORENpub.com, and use the promo code TALKLINE and take an extra 5% off for a total 25% discount. That's korenpub.com for 25% off on subscriptions to the current Talmud Bavli and free shipping. Restrictions apply. If you're planning to travel anywhere this summer, the first trip you should make is to call Supreme Travel. We constantly use Supreme Travel ourselves and count on them for their expertise and advice on the best options and value. It's not only about getting the lowest fare, it's also about being there to help you when issues come up that can ruin your plans. Supreme Travel is always available to make sure things run smoothly when problems with airlines do arise. Of course, Supreme Travel takes care of your other travel needs, so when you land there, there'll be a rental car waiting for you, a cell phone in hand, and a hotel room for you to sleep. Supreme Travel also offers GPS, SMS messaging, international calling, and more for as little as $5 per day. For students going to Israel, they have a 12-month ticket plus one free change allowed at a special rate. So call them, 212-278-8268. That's 212-278-8268, and begin your journey with Supreme Travel for supreme satisfaction.
After so many wars and acts of terrorism, the people of Israel are at risk again. Israelis are living with constant danger, and many of us are at a loss as to how to help. But you can make a real difference by making a gift to support Magen David Adom, Israel's ambulance and blood service. Your gift will provide urgently needed medical supplies, help Israel's Blood Services Center, and provide equipment to MDA's 13,000 volunteer EMTs. And when you support Magen David Adom, you're supporting one of the world's leading mass casualty trauma response organizations, so you know your gift will have an impact. Make a gift today and help save lives in Israel. Call 866-632-2763. That's 866-632-2763. Or visit American Friends of Magen David Adom at redstarforisrael.org. Save a life in Israel today.
We're getting a lot of your phone calls, so please be patient. We're going to get to you in just a few moments. Email is a good way to get through as well as talklinecommunications.com. But first, the latest news from Jerusalem. Good morning to you, Dov.
Good morning to you, Zev. Good morning to all the listeners. And with the sun shining in my eyes this morning in Jerusalem, let me start off on Saturday night as I do with quick quotes from the Gutnick Chumash, the amazing Gutnick Chumash, which has an English translation which incorporates Rashi, many classical Perushim and Taras Menachem from the Holy Lubavitch Rebbe, that was just last week. There's a famous question they ask: why is a portion of the Torah called Balak? I mean, after Mamish, a giant Jew hater. So the Rebbe has he has four answers, but I only give you the first one. In the opening of the portion, he says that, listen, the Torah is a blueprint for all of creation. And basically, calling a portion Balak teaches you that everything is included in the Torah. The Torah is all-inclusive, including even the wickedness and the wicked people that are in the world. So therefore, a portion can be called Balak to teach us, not to exclude anything from the Holy Torah. The Torah is all encompassing. That's just one of the answers. You get the Gutnick Chumash, and you'll have three other amazing answers from the amazing Lubavitch Rebbe, who, as I've been mentioning, there's a great new biography called The Most In-Depth Treatment, called Turning Judaism Outward, which is being called the most in-depth treatment of the Rebbe's life ever written. Just to quote Dina Evan Kaplan, author, Contemporary American Judaism. She wrote a book called Contemporary American Judaism. Wonderfully written as well as intensely thought-provoking. The most in-depth treatment of the Rebbe's life ever written. It's a must. Rav Chaim Miller did it again. He wrote he put together the big Gutnick Chumash also. Available at all your local farm stores. It's in hardcover now also. First came out in softcover. It's in the web at kolmenachem.com. You can get it for $28.95, I believe. That's the softcover. Or call 1-888 1-888-580-1900. 1-888-580-1900. Latest news out of Israel. Sponsored from Israel by Hamish S. And you're coming to Jerusalem. I just ate their delicious foods for Shabbos. Great restaurant at number 8 Ramban Street, right off King George, next to the King's Hotel. Glide Coastal Mahadran. From America, sponsored by Quality Carpet and Flooring. They deliver in the tri-state area, which means also the Catskill Mountains, all the way up to the Catskills. If you need your bungalows done, floors done in the bungalow, they'll do it for you. Get over to 214 Dittmas Avenue right outside of Borough Park, or call 718-941-4200. And for travel, it's summertime, it's travel time, and Traveler's Choice takes the trouble out of travel. There's no, it's not expelled exactly right, but I like the line. Anyway, Essie and Navarra, they are amazing, husband and wife team with their staff, playing their entire itinerary to Asia, Africa, the Far East, and of course, to Holy Eretz Yisrael. It's hot days and hot times in Eretz Yisrael. You want to be here with us. Call Traveler's Choice. I'm going to have the prices for Sukkot starting next week. Call 212-868-8698, 212-868-8698. Saturday night, I always mention my cousin Yitz Kalinetsky, and their mortgage brokers, J-Mark Group, mortgage brokers, not bankers, to get the best possible loan. Call my cousin Yitz at 1-800-LOAN, LOAN 750, 1-800-LOAN, LOAN 750. And in the headlines, of course, with the rockets continuing to come out, with the deadline that Netanyahu gave 48 hours has already passed, and they shot a rocket even at Beersheba at night. No damage done in that, but there are two calls in Israel. One for patience and doing the right thing, and the other is for just attacking them. And that's what Hamas wants, because Hamas is in a very, very bad state. Egypt hates them. They messed up with the Palestine Authority, the unity government. Israel has the ability to cut off their fuel, their electricity. They're cornered. They can't go through. Their Fiat crossing is closed. So it's easy to say, attack them. That's the predicament of the government. Should we attack and give them an opportunity to hold up a child's body without a head and win a victory that way because they don't care about the death of their own people? Or should we just be patient and wait for their killers, for their leaders to come out of their holes, their hiding places, and get them, or whatever? That's what's happening in Israel right now. The big decision, there are those that say attack, and there are those that say Netanyahu is doing the right thing. That's the latest news. Love you all. Shavua Tov from Yerushalayim.
Thank you, Doshin, with the latest news from Jerusalem. And Jacob Kornbluh is our guest, political journalist and managing editor of JP Update. So we're taking your phone calls at 212-769-1925. Email is a great way to get through to us. That's Zev, Z-E-V, at talklinecommunications.com. That's Z-E-V at talklinecommunications.com. And let us go to our first caller for the evening. And let us go to Aaron. Is that Aaron from Muncie? Okay, Aaron from Muncie, you're going to be our first caller for tonight. Go ahead. Please keep your questions and brief and to the point, okay? We have a lot of calls we want to get through everybody tonight. Go ahead, Aaron in Muncie. Aaron, are you there? Is that let's go to Naftali and Flatbush then. Is this Naftali and Flatbush? Okay, if Aaron in Muncie is not there, Naftali and Flatbush, your turn. Go ahead, please. Go ahead, Naftali. Are you there, Naftali? Jacob, are you there?
Yes.
Naftali, are you there? Okay, we'll get to that. Let me just take an email question first. Okay, and here's an email question for you. And Jacob, can you comment on your bills of background and how it affects your reporting regarding Satmar?
I am not going to comment on that.
Okay. Here's a point. I have a few points I'd like to hear addressed. Number one, the Rebbe did not justify the murder. He blamed the murderers and called them animals. He only said it was wrong for the parents to choose such a dangerous place to live. Two, if somebody wanted to be super firm, really a chassid shot and refused to break Shabbos to save a life, wouldn't any sensible person say the same thing? Shabbos is a bigger mitzvah than Yishuv Eretz Yisrael. Bisman Hazeh, doesn't Pikuach Nefesh override every mitzvah in the Torah? I agree the timing was insensitive, but it was a private remark. Why isn't it publicized in line when the Rebbe has a chiddush or so? Obviously there is an agenda in publicizing this. The fact is the Rebbe's words are simple common sense. I guess the truth hurts.
I would say that for the Satmar Rebbe, it's not a difference if you live in Hebron or you live in Tel Aviv or Jerusalem, Modi'in and Beitar Illit. So I wouldn't consider, this to be like time sensitive. I mean, his view is that, the Jews should not have a state in the land of Israel. So where does this come in to living in Hebron or learning in Hebron when it comes to the cold-blooded killing of 3 innocent children?
And the truth is, there's very few Jews are killed in Hebron or in Yehuda and Shomron.
Zeb, I would say in the 1990s it was more dangerous to live in Williamsburg than in the West Bank. In fact, more people were mugged or killed in Williamsburg over the past 2 decades than in Hebron. So if you look at casualties, I mean, New York wasn't a beacon of freedom when it comes to the lives of anybody.
Exactly. We have a lot of people waiting to speak to you. Let's go to Sam in Manhattan. Sam in Manhattan, thank you for waiting. Your question for our guest. Go ahead, Sam in Manhattan. Yes, you're on the air, Sam.
I'm on the air?
Go ahead, please. Quick question or comment.
Okay. First of all, of course I don't believe this, but if the Arabs consider Jews robbers of their land, which of course I don't believe, the penalty for stealing land is not, the capital punishment is not death. It's a monetary issue. You go to an arbitrator and you arbitrate the claim about real estate. But of course, I don't believe the Jews stole that land. In fact, it's the Arabs who in the 6th and 7th century came out of the Arabian Peninsula, which is just made up of Saudi Arabia, Oman, Yemen, and the Arab Emirates.
And I appreciate your call, but thank you for that. Let's go to Naftali in Brooklyn. Naftali in Brooklyn. Your quick question or comment for our guest. Go ahead, Naftali in Brooklyn.
Yes.
Good, Bob.
I just want to say, obviously, that Satmar Rebbe is a big tzaddik. I just feel when parents lose a child, I once went to a shiva call by a Satmar leader, and he said that there's no word in Hebrew for someone who loses a child. That's how great the pain is. So when these parents are singled out and made to feel guilty, I think that's really something not appropriate. And I agree with what your guest just said. In the 1990s, when Haskell Wurzburger was killed, did anybody say that it's dangerous to live in Williamsburg and he's to blame for his own death? That's ridiculous. And if he would have gone after a movement or maybe about the whole settlement, it'd be one thing. But even so, according to the Rambam, Moshe Rabbeinu was punished when he said Shimon HaMoirim by chastising Gans Klal Yisrael when it wasn't appropriate. Moshe Rabbeinu himself was punished. So other Rishonim don't agree, but at least to go ahead and single out parents after such a terrible loss when the blood is still warm, to me it's unforgivable.
Jacob, any comments to Naftali?
I agree with his comments.
All right, thank you really for your comments. And let's go to Monroe, New York. Shlomo in Monroe, New York. Your quick question or comment. Go ahead, Shlomo Monroe. You're on the air.
Yeah, hi. First, number one, Nimater es Besarchem, that's what the Gemara says. That no Rebbe says that. Nimater es Besarchem, Kayeles Asoda, that's what says the Gemara. Second of all, if, let's say, one of the Torah Karta takes along his child to want to protest, and one of the Arabs want to kill their children, everybody's going to jump on them. Everybody's going to scream. While in the Shiva even, nobody's going to wait until after the Shiva and comment on that. Everybody will come within the Shiva and scream, yeah, it's their own fault. They shouldn't have gone to the Arabs. They shouldn't have gone to the Arabs. Nobody would have think of waiting till after the Shiva. It wasn't the right time, and people should know what need to follow the Gemara says. If not, that's what happens.
Jacob,
I would disagree with this guy. He's uninformed. I mean, we're talking about the lives of innocent children, and it's no matter if it's an Arab, a non-Jew, or a Jew. We are against the killing of innocent children, and if it would be an Atiyah,
the Gemara says when that's what the Gemara says. You know, the Gemara shows if you have your own IDF, that's what happens.
By the way, we're not going to get to the whole
justifies the killing of Israeli and Jewish children. Nothing justifies that. And we are talking not about the Talmudical aspect to it. We are talking about the timing. The timing when the parents are still sitting shiva over their slain children. You do not come out with the boldest statement that you can ever produce, and with such a provocative statement, no matter if it's Talmud or the Torah, you don't publicly say such a statement.
It may be a question of you're hurting the parents. It's a question of inflicting on them extra pain, which itself is a category that's forbidden by halacha. Anyway, thank you for your phone call. When we come back, more of your phone calls at 212-769-1925. 212-769-1925. Our guest, Jacob Kornbluh, political journalist and managing editor of JP Updates. And coming up in a little while, Rabbi Joseph Telushin. We're going to be back after the following messages. Don't go away. And we're also going to give away tonight a $50 gift basket to Jack's Gourmet coming up.
Summer, treat yourself to Jack's Gourmet authentic handcrafted kosher deli meats and sausages made from only the finest quality meats and spices. Jack's Gourmet's line of gluten-free products never uses artificial ingredients, fillers, byproducts, or MSG. Naturally delicious, Jack's Gourmet's incredible variety of sausages and deli meats are great for any meal, especially your next barbecue. Fire up that grill and cook up some sweet Italian sausage, spicy Mexican-style chorizo sausage, or Fakin burgers for a meal your friends and family will praise you for. Certified Glatt Kosher by the OU and Kehila Kashrus, Jack's Gourmet's wide variety of delicious products are available at your local store nationwide and online at jacksgourmetkosher.com.
If you're planning to travel anywhere this summer, the first trip you should make is to call Supreme Travel. We constantly use Supreme Travel ourselves and count on them for their expertise and advice on the best options and value. It's not only about getting the lowest fare, it's also about being there to help you when issues come up that can ruin your plans. Supreme Travel is always available to make sure things run smoothly when problems with airlines do arise. Of course, Supreme Travel takes care of your other travel needs, so when you land there, there'll be a rental car waiting for you, a cell phone in hand, and a hotel room for you to sleep. Supreme Travel also offers GPS, SMS messaging, international calling, and more for as little as $5 per day. For students going to Israel, they have a 12-month ticket plus one free change allowed at a special rate. So call them, 212-278-8268. That's 212-278-8268, and begin your journey with Supreme Travel for supreme satisfaction. It's not too late to sign up for the Jewish Heritage Tour of Majestic Morocco this coming August 13th through the 24th. The tour starts the Wednesday after Shabbos Nachmu for a total of 11 days, 10 nights. Join Rabbi Herschel Schachter, Rosh Yeshiva and Rosh Kol of Yeshiva University, and Rafal Amole, author, Jews of Morocco, as you will embark on an unforgettable journey through historic and modern Morocco, including trips to Fez and Rabat. The first Shabbos will be in Marrakesh and the second in Casablanca. Accommodation includes staying in 5-star hotels and traveling in deluxe buses throughout the country. 3 kosher meals a day under a Hasidic shechita. For reservations, call David of MDA Tours at 347-752-1948. That's 347-752-1948. Or email him at mdatours1@gmail.com. That's mdatours@gmail.com. Don't delay. Make your reservations today, as there are only a few seats left on the group nonstop round-trip flight to Morocco. Calls 347-752-1948. Don't delay. Are you intrigued by the world of Talmud? Subscribe to the current Talmud Bavli and bring the Gemara to life with color images, maps, and explanations on halacha, history, and language by Rav Din Steinsaltz. The current Talmud Bavli will change the way you understand Gemara. Subscribe to get 20% off and free shipping, and Talk and Listen get an extra 5% off. So go to KorenPub.com, that's KORENPub.com, and use the promo code TALKLINE and take an extra 5% off for a total 25% discount. That's KorenPub.com for 25% off on subscriptions to the current Talmud Bavli and free shipping. Restrictions apply. High Tech 2000 does it again with some sizzling, great ready for summer specials. Get a free phone, no contract on the Verizon network. Data solution for the country. Rental and sales are available from High Tech 2000. Cam calling cards are only 3.5 cents per minute with no payphone surcharge. And SD cards of 4 gigabytes, $4.99, 8 gigabytes, $9.99, and 16 gigabytes, $14.99. Free gift, no purchase necessary. Only at High Tech 2000, 1270 47th Street, across the street from the Avenue Plaza Hotel. Call them 718-851-7300. That's 718-851-7300. High Tech 2000. Thirteenth Avenue Pharmacy, the pharmacy that cares about you and your family, is open daily from 10 a.m. till midnight, closed Shabbos. Give them a try. You won't be sorry. They're the Hamish of Pharmacy with a professional touch. Visit them at 5211 13th Avenue in the heart of Borough Park. You can call them 718-871-9777. That's 718-871-9777. And while you're at 13th Avenue Pharmacy, please visit their brand new optical department. Mention my name or talk line for an 8% discount. And they're closed today, Sunday, in observance of July 4th. Jacob Kornbluh, our guest. We're taking your phone calls at 212-769-1925. Let's go to Woodmere. Alicia from Woodmere, your question for our guest. Go ahead, please. Alicia, are you there? Alicia from Woodmere. If you're not there, then let's go to Monroe, New York. Our number's at 212-769-1925. Let's go to Monroe, New York. And Shlomo from Monroe, are you there? Shlomo from Monroe, are you there? Okay, then let's go to Sasha from Borough Park. Okay, Sasha from Borough Park, your question for our guest. Go ahead, Sasha and BP.
Hello?
Yes, Sasha, good luck.
Good luck.
Your question for our guest. You have to load it ready. Just go to the next. Your call the question, please.
It's not a question. It's just a comment that I would like to make. Because the comment says, no matter what.
Yes, quickly.
No matter what sheet you hold, when wounds are open, you're not supposed to make such comments regarding any halacha. Just like I called up one of the big Satmar Rebbe and I asked him, how can your rabbi make such a comment? So he gives me a comment back. Suppose you drive with a child in a car and 120-degree weather and the child has a show and passes away. If the father is at fault, I says yes, but even if the father is at fault, you're not allowed to make such a comment while Shiva occurred or anytime would occur. It's something you can't help. To make such a comment that parents are at fault at a child's death in the middle of Shiva is outrageous.
Okay, we appreciate that comment, and any time to make this comment. The parents are suffering enough; they don't need to suffer anything more than that. Here's an interesting email. Your guest is absolutely right on everything else, except for it never being the right time to blame parents for a death caused by terrorism. Perhaps we can all think of ways to continue the actions begun with the search for the boys, making sure these good feelings are with all of us in all branches of Judaism, in good times and in bad. Sylvia, thank you, I think, for a good remark. Okay, more of your phone calls right now. Okay, you're on the air, and your question for our guest, Jacob Kornbluh. Go ahead, you're on the air. Yes, good luck.
Yeah, first of all, I'm not exactly sure what the credential that your guest is the question of Uncle B. Israel. I think it should be somebody else. That's number one.
I'm glad you became a producer of the show. Thank you. Question, comment number two.
Number two, when the Satmar Rebbe after the Koifon, if there would have been social media and WhatsApp, it would have looked a lot different, the reaction than it looked in those days. And even in those days, the entire world, almost every Jewish publication, tore him down, tore his opinion down. And yes, there is a thing out of respect to a gild-ad Yisrael. I think that Reb Chaim Kanievsky or somebody like that would come out and say Satmar Rebbe's words were inappropriate or something like that. But for you to have a guest like you have to come out and give an opinion of Satmar Rebbe's words, it's kind of odd.
Okay, and we appreciate your opinion. By the way, leaders, including from the good, have come with statements regarding that. Anyway, let's go to David in the Upper West Side of Manhattan. David on the Upper West Side of Manhattan, your question for our guest. Go ahead, David, on the Upper West Side.
Hi, good evening, Shavuot. I just want to say that besides the Satmar Rebbe, besides being insensitive and lacking in seichel in what he said, it is extremely ironic to me that he finds himself, the Satmar movement, finds themselves on the same side as the worst anti-Semites that exist in the world today, whether it's Iran, whether it's Hamas, whether it's Hezbollah, whether it's the neo-Nazis in Europe. It's an amazing thing. The stupidity is unbelievable, and that's really all I want to say. They should really do tshuva. This is incredible that they are on the same side as the anti-Semites in the world. And I don't understand them. I mean, they're just seized by this hatred of the state of Israel, seized by the hatred of Zionism. It's beyond belief. It's beyond belief. It's so incredibly stupid, and that's really all I want to say.
And by the way, it's only to say, I know we have to say there are two separate communities. This is the Satmar community of Monroe. There's a Rav Aaron Teitelbaum, not the one in Brooklyn who made remarks. They can't even get along with each other. The brothers can't even get along. How are they going to get along with anybody else? It's just pathetic and it's tragic. That's really what I want to say. The world should know this is ridiculous. It's very, very, very sad to hear stupidity like this being said. And the whole approach of the Satmar and the Neturei Karta, I know they're not the same, but the whole approach that they have toward Israel, the state of Israel, and Zionism, is very, very tragic. It's so stupid. It's to be unbelievable. Anyway, thank you for your phone call. We're going to just have room for a couple more calls for the segment. And a quick question and comment. Go ahead. You're on the air. Go ahead, please. Yes, go ahead, please. Okay. If you're not there, we'll go to our next caller. Okay. Your quick question and comment. Yes.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Yes. I would like to say just very simple that this Rebbe is not the Satmar Rebbe of the previous generation, Rebbe Yoel. And for him to comment like this for a person who's been involved in Machlekes himself with his own brother didn't come out, the other Rebbe in Williamsburg, and say anything derogatory against fellow Jews. Number two, there's nowhere in halacha that anybody could say anything against any Jews that were killed in Neregal Kiddush Hashem. Who is he to speak like that? It's Chil Hashem himself that he speaks that way. And the other point is that he was one who was for the peace process when that to shake hands with Arafat, and then it took him months later to retract from that. So I don't think he's such a great and wise leader that people have to really get all up in arms about this. I think the host that's you have to guess that is absolutely right with all of what he says, and all Jews should be infuriated about his comments, whether there is a basis, there is a certain truth, maybe not to go into a place where there's a sakana.
Well, there is no sakana. There's more sakana in Williamsburg when they move in.
The point is, it's not coming from a good place. He's not a good source that we should all get up and
I mean, I don't want to get in tax onto the Rebbe, because I'll tell you, who I was most impressed with, and I thank you for your phone call. Steve from Queens, thank you for your phone call. Jake, I was most impressed with Shlomo Aviner. He is the Rosh Yeshiva of Ateret Kohanim, and I think he wrote an article. He was, even though he disagreed with the Satmar Rebbe, he was very respectful. I'm going to read from the last part of his letter. He goes, this is what Rabbi Shlomo Aviner says: we must thank Hashem and his loyal agents, Sahal, the police, the Mossad, the Shabak, and the rest of the security establishment, day and night for the peace and quiet we merit in our land. In the Gemara in Chulin, Rabbi Abaye asks, why is there a bird called Ra, the one who saw? And he answered, because he sits in Bavel, that's Babylonia, and sees carcass in Israel, in Eretz Yisrael. So the great rabbi explains that this is a parable to someone who dwells outside of the land of Israel and sees deficiencies of the land of Israel and speaks lashon hara against it. This obviously is no way detracts from the incredible merits of the Admor of Satmar in strengthening Torah and fear of Hashem in America. We pray regardless, may our eyes behold your return to Zion in compassion. Signed, Rosh Shlomo Aviner. Jacob, any closing thoughts?
I would not go into the agreement or disagreement with the rabbi's shitta. We all know, a vast majority of Jews believe that the land of Israel is the land of the Jewish people, and a majority of ultra-Orthodox, of Haredim, travel to Israel, visit Israel, daven at the Koisel, and view parts of Israel as our promised land. So I'm not going to go into that agreement or disagreement. However, I would quote Shlomo HaMelech: there's time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens, a time to tear and a time to mend, a time to be silent and a time to speak. And that's what we are talking about. There's a time for everything, and now is not the time. And I think, in my belief, there's never the time. It's never the time to blame parents of aggrieved parents that are sitting shiva
and we have to have
on
compassion
3
for
of their
them.
young children that were brutally murdered by terrorists. It's never the time to blame them, because the terrorists seek us everywhere in New York, in upstate New York, everywhere. We all are victims of terror, and we should not justify the act of terror in any
place, anywhere in the world. I'm going to squeeze in Baltimore, because Naftali in Baltimore's been waiting, so you're going to be our final caller on this segment. Naftali in Baltimore, your quick 30-second question or comment to our guest.
Yes, I'd like to take issue with you, guys. I think that we know that the Eretz Yisrael, that it's unsafe to hitchhike, as it is to hitchhike in the United States itself, and even in Williamsburg. And someone goes by himself on the derech is kind of what happens. And these people felt that they can hitchhike as they want. I think it goes back to the Zionism, to the that they
hitchhiking has nothing to do with Zionism. People hitchhike even in the Catskills. They shouldn't do that.
Do whatever they want.
It's not going to do whatever they want. People hitchhike, but that's not the issue. The issue here is that you have 3 boys that were killed by terrorists, and they would kill any Jew they could get their hands on. That's the fact.
Why would they Shiva allow them to, and the terrorists allow them to hitchhike for?
The Shiva didn't allow them to hitchhike. They did it on their own, and you can't. And it still doesn't. And he doesn't justify the brutal killing by these terrorists who just shot them. We have to remember that. Anyway, Jacob Kornbluh, I want to thank you for being here with us, and we apologize. I know a lot of callers, but this is an issue which I thought was worth talking about, discussing, and thank you for being part of our broadcast tonight.
Thank you, Shavuot Tov, and let's only hear Basiris Tovis.
Basiris Tovis. When we come back, we'll hear from the Ukrainian Jewish Report. We'll also hear from Rabbi Joseph Telushkin. We'll hear from the Efrat Report, and we're going to give away right now a